today as to what we do. What we'll probably do is then from Belvoir Castle we'll come back down to the town. We may go out to the vantage point that gives you, in fact I'll get him to do that because it's cracking. We'll go around to the front of the old harbour and the old port, and you get a really nice view out across the Bay of Palma. You get some cracking photos of the cathedral from there right the way across the bay. You'll see that the cathedral absolutely totally dominates the whole of the Bay of Palma. You'll get some nice photographs of the cathedral and the Bay of Palma from just around there. Then we'll go along the Paseo Maritimo. There's not a huge amount we can do on the coach, alright? What we'll do is we'll take you up around the old walls of the town, into the old part of the town, along the past the top of the Bourne, which is the main thoroughfare in Palma. Then continue around the outside of the old walls, down to where we came out of the port on Thursday morning, where I pointed out, which is right in front of the cathedral. And from there, Tony will take you for a walk up into the old town. The walk that Tony does normally lasts about an hour and a half, right? If at any time you think, I've had a guts full, I want to drop out, just let him know that you're going to do your own thing and wander off. Then at 4 o'clock, back where we picked you up, back where we dropped you off, sorry, and back across to the hotel, back here for about 5:15. Okay, I've got some maps here. I'll come around shortly and give you maps of Palma, and I'll make sure that you all know where we're getting off the coach and where you've got to come back to. The Palma city sites here, maps the open top bus tour, but they're as good as I could steal when I was there last week. So give you a nice idea of the layout of Palma and where we are in relation to the town, and where you're going to have to get back to. See, now I've shut up. You don't want to talk about Peter Stuyvesant, do you? Have a look up on the on the right-hand side, just on the top here of this apartment.
Oh yeah, look.
If it's like in Austria, it means they've got a new baby in the house. Any of you that have been to Austria, quite often if you see a store cup outside a house, it means there's a new baby just been born into the family in the house. Might be a little bit busy in Palma. So we're going to go just a little bit further on here and pick Tony up just near the front of the cathedral. I know I keep on, the cathedral blows me up. A magnificent building, really is absolutely stunning. As we travel along the front here, if you look to the right hand side, you'll see the Arabic influence, or the Arab influence in the buildings. And you see straight through the front of the coach now, up on the hill in front of us is the Belvoir Castle, which is where our first stop is going to be. As you see, you'll get a fantastic panoramic view out across the city.
Okay. I see it now.
You can see the cathedral on the right. The building's just here on the right hand side. It's typically Arab, isn't it? It's very Arab influenced buildings here. You see our little ferry. This is what's going to confuse us when we go home on Wednesday morning. The ferry is just over on the left hand side, and it's in Terminal 1 at the moment, which is not the terminal we came in at. So we have to sort of, there's a look.
I couldn't get it out showing forward.
I'm surprised actually.
Good morning. Good morning.
We go now to the castle of Belvoir, but we start seeing things here. This is Palma. Let me show you this monument here, which I like so much. It's one of my favorite monuments in Majorca. This one on the right. It's called Sellotge. Sellotge in Majorcan, La Lonja in Spanish. Never mind, you don't understand anything, not both words probably. In English, this building, which is a beautiful, we'll see it again on the way back from the castle to the cathedral. And this is a building which was built, all of it, at the 15th century, Gothic style, pure Gothic style. Okay, more things. There are so many things to see here in this mile that from the beginning to the cathedral until the end of the Paseo Maritimo. It's impossible to tell them all to you, but we'll come back this way as well. In front of you can see the castle of Belvedere, where we go. Just under the castle there is a nice promenade full of apartments and hotels. This promenade, it was very important for Mallorca, because it was this promenade that you can see just in front. It was the first who came here in Mallorca in the 20s, 30s, that was full of hotels. Not as big as these buildings that you see now. Nice hotels, all built between 1905 and 1923. Luckily we keep the one which was built the last, exactly in 1923, which is Hotel Mediterraneo. Hotel Mediterraneo is not an hotel anymore, but the outside of the building, we kept it like it was in the past. They could turn it only by the inside. I say that the new part of Palma is not as beautiful as the old one. Palma has two beautiful things, in my opinion. The facade facing the sea, which is, in fact, I think is spectacular. In all the brochures, in so many magazines, you see the impressive picture of our cathedral and the royal palace just in front of the sea. This makes a lot of publicity for Mallorca, and good publicity. So this facade is really beautiful. And then the old town is nice, is really nice. But the modern side of Palma, which is what you see, well, not bad, but thousands. And on top of the hill there is this castle that I just showed you, that you could see on top of the hill. We are going to give 45 minutes to see the castle. We go to see a panoramic view of the castle, but in case that you want to go into the castle, I'll go with you and I'll guide the visit to the castle. And you have to go and buy the tickets to the desk. I'll tell you where the desk is. To be honest, I think the price is €4 now. I forgot, but then 3-4 euros I think, because the prices went up not many weeks ago. So we talk about this amount. I think it's €4. Those of you who don't want to go to the castle, just stay in the coach or stay in the surroundings, see the view, take pictures of the view and wait. And the people who want to go to the castle with me, just you go to the desk, you pay the ticket, and I'll show you the castle. Okay? From the top we'll go. As well, on our visit we'll go to the top of the castle, to the terraces, and from the terraces you'll be able to see a fantastic panoramic view of the town of Palma and the Bay of Palma. Okay, easy to visit. Okay, yes. Departure time 11 o'clock. Departure time 11 o'clock. Appeared completely in 1349, when the last king of Mallorca was defeated and killed. Okay, then the castle, the furniture of this castle disappeared completely. But the building is beautiful. Okay, it's worth, because the building is really beautiful. It's rather small, so it's easy to see, and the view is excellent. But now, it's up to you, it's your decision. So the coach is going to stay here, and whether you visit the castle or not, please be so kind to be back here at 11 o'clock to see the rest of the town. Okay?
There's a nice little cat.
It's ready for the next drink or something.
Sit down, nice view over the countryside in that direction. Yeah.
La merienda. Vale.
Okay. Ah, oye.
All here. All here.
Este es el chofer del autocar, oye, mira, pues. Look, the first thing I want to tell you is watch where you step, because you see the floor is uneven. So watch where you step. We go this way now till the entrance of the castle.
No, I mean it was up here. Oh, and you know that bad winter? Yeah. My conservative has come out, and they were taller than me, and they did it winter. Even though there's a bit of heat in there, it wasn't enough. No, that bad winter a couple of years back, and it killed them. Enjoy your trip.
Very uneven. Loads of them.
Mira por dónde vamos a entrar, está el hombre ahí, detrás de la torre.
Okay. The castle is a defensive castle building. You see the castle is surrounded by a wall, okay, just a defensive wall, then comes a moat, and then the castle. And the castle itself is a fortress. It's a real fortress, it's difficult to climb. And the castle is divided in two parts, the main tower, and the castle itself, both connected by this bridge. The main tower is 31 meters high, 31. And the base is bigger, of course. And in the base there is a water tank, non-used anymore, not used anymore. But it was built to have a water tank because the problem of this castle is lack of water. There is no water here, no springs in this hill, nothing. So they needed to make a good use of the water of the rain, and that's the reason why they built a water tank in here. The moat has always been empty, normally, yeah. And you see the moat, at the bottom of the moat there is a pavement. This is new. When this was, they built this pavement maybe 12, 15 years ago. Before it was soil and rocks, and the water went so very easy. So a moat, most of the time, without
Moat without any water.
Yeah, beautiful.
Then here, you know that all the castles, the medieval castles, they have the typical drawbridge, which is so nice. We had it. See the pulleys?
Yeah. Yes.
That's all we keep of the old drawbridge. But I saw this drawbridge when I started working as a guide. That was in the late 70s. The drawbridge was here, and we had to go through the wooden bridge to get into the castle. One day, that was maybe 84, 5. I don't remember. I come here, and at the beginning of the season, drawbridge is gone, and there is stone bridge.
Stolen.
Huh? No. It was a bad decision, but we lost it.
Sparrows live in there now.
Sparrows, yeah, there is a sparrow there, yeah, for sure. Okay, and then another thing that I wanted to make you see is that, you see there, the bridge is not aligned with the gate, and this is on purpose, just because, like this, nobody can open the castle with the battering ram.
Ah, yeah.
See, safer.
Yeah.
Okay, we go in now.
First time I've seen that as well, actually.
Like that, but mine's castle.
Moat without any water.
You see, in Majorca we had 73 years of independence, and our kings, they had the royal palace, which was just in front of the cathedral. The building that you'll see in front of the cathedral, that was their royal palace. But like all the kings, they wanted the summer palace. And this was their summer palace. So, this building was built to be a palace, not a castle. The royal family, the Majorcan royal family, they built it for it to be their summer palace. Okay? And probably this is the reason why you see it so well looked after, so well preserved. Why? The question is why they built a summer palace here, in this hill, where there is nothing to enjoy. This hill, if you walk through the hill, you would walk through bushes, very difficult to walk. No prairies, no sea, nothing to do when you're up here. Well, the castle is beautiful, beautiful, but what to do? Nothing. So why they built it here, and why they built it with the shape of a castle, being a royal palace? Because they wanted to build a royal palace. And this is because of safety reasons, defensive reasons. See, I said to you yesterday that Catalonia was a small country. The capital is Barcelona. And Catalonia was a country in another kingdom, the Kingdom of Aragon. The Kingdom of Aragon. So a part of the Kingdom of Aragon, called Catalonia, conquered these islands from the Arabs. And in those days, the Arabs, they were big, important. They were a big empire. The Arabs, they went till France, till Poitiers. They conquered the Balkanic Peninsula, the Italian Peninsula. They were strong. So once they conquered these islands, the Catalans said, okay, we won the battle. We conquered the islands, but what if they come back? So they said, if we want a summer palace, this summer palace must be safe. That's why they came here, because from here, any ship going to conquer Palma is seen from here. Right? And second, they built it, their palace, with the shape of a castle, because like this, in case of an attack, they could be defended better. Even more, they never finished. They started building a tunnel going from this castle to the palace. And there is the beginning of the tunnel that they built. To be honest, I don't know how long they built. The distance, the complete distance was supposed to be about 3 kilometers, but they never finished it. Because in case of an attack, they said, we take the tunnel and we go to our palace. So, a palace with the shape of a castle. This is what we are going to see now. The building itself. As you can see, this is the patio, as I said to you, completely round. Is the only round the only round castle that we keep in Spain. And all the castle is built with sandstone, excepting the pillars and the arches of the ground floor, and the pillars, not the arches, of the top floor. The rest is all built in sandstone. If you count the arches of the ground floor, you would count 21. And up there, 42. Yeah. Because each Gothic arch of the top is divided by 2 by a smaller pillar. So 21, 42. The thing that catches your eye is, one thing that catches your eye is the difference in style, because this, we are talking about the Gothic building. By the way, the castle of Belvedere was finished in 1300. So we talk about a Gothic building from the 13th century. Finished the last year of the 13th century. The building.
Coming upstairs. Well, it came off course. I've got to see.
You young men can get up there. I'm the tongue thing today. I thought about what they did. Every day.
It's not round, come on. It's not straight.
Well, it's well for you, isn't it? It's about going up when you're coming down. Oh, wow. Come down quite straight.
Okay, so you can see Palma from here. First of all, you can distinguish very, very well the old town from the new town. The old town, can you see the cathedral there?
Yeah.
All right, so around the cathedral there is the old town. You see that the buildings, they are lower. Lower.
Yeah.
And as well, the color is a little bit browner. And the rest of the town is bigger, higher buildings, and clearer buildings as well. And just before the cathedral, there is the port, just here. This is what we, sorry, this is what we call the old port, which is not the oldest. It's not the oldest. The old port, you'll see now. We're going to see now, which is the medieval port. That's the oldest one. But we call this one the old port, okay, because it's the one that we have seen always, all right? And this port, it was the port of Palma when Mallorca became a tourist island. Okay, you saw some statues down there in the ground floor. They are real Roman statues. And this museum is a Roman museum, taken to Majorca by this man there. He was a cardinal, the only cardinal in the history, the only cardinal who was born in Majorca in the history of the Catholic Church. Okay? And it seemed that this man came back to Majorca with a ship full of works of art. And probably he thought that he had so many that he sold one lot to the British Museum. Then the second lot, this one, to the Council of Palma. And the best piece is kept for him in his family. Okay? His name was Antonio Despuig. Antonio Despuig. He has a big manor house in the countryside, and the family has a big palace in Palma. All right, now look at this room. The castle is round, and it's not very big. It's rather a small castle. To build rooms in this castle, the only available space that they had was from this wall down. The side, at the other side, there is the corridor. No more room. So from there. Portapi and they were built where the old hotels were. Where the old hotels were. Most of the all the hotels, they were built between, I think I said it to you, between 1905 and 1923. And they had a lot of input, a lot of influence from the modernist architects. They were not all of the modernist style, but many of them. In any case, they were beautiful, beautiful buildings, old style buildings. But what happened is that they became redundant, too old as well. Because this is a beautiful street, but there is no beach here. So, in the 20s, it was impossible to build anything on the beach, because there were no facilities at all. The beaches on Majorca, they were all virgin beaches, and to get to some of them, it was impossible, or very, very difficult, because there were no roads. So, in the 20s, excuse me, you'll be able to see now the building that I mentioned, the only one that, even being turned into apartment, keeps the shape of outside of when it was an hotel. Hotel Mediterraneo, here, on the left, there, this building. Hotel Mediterraneo, built in 1923. And then after Hotel Mediterraneo there is a funny building. See, this is Tito's, a discotheque, modern building. But the old Tito's, they demolished the old Tito's when they built this. The old Tito's, it was the first discotheque ever opened in Majorca. The first discotheque, Tito's. So, as I was telling you, it was impossible to build anything in the beaches at the beginning of the 20th century. No facilities at all, not even roads, no current water, nothing. So, tourism, at the beginning, had to be in Palma. Okay? Close to Palma. The only place with facilities. That's the reason why they built the hotels here. But in the 60s, we started getting facilities in the coasts where the beaches are. And we started building proper hotels with facilities. And then people wanted to go to the beaches. And these hotels, they became redundant. Old and without beach. So, no clients, no guests, no bookings. They didn't get enough bookings, and they said, okay, we want to demolish the hotel and build apartments. And that's what they did. Then, in the 70s and 80s, we built some other hotels, not many, but modern. And in this Paseo Maritimo, there are now maybe, I think there are 3 or 4 hotels, or 4 or 5 maybe. But all the old ones, they're gone. Okay, windmills on the left. Windmills. Why windmills here? This was not a town before. This was the countryside, because the town finished just in front, where the walls are. And Palma was surrounded by very good fields for grain, and therefore grinding windmills. We still keep some of them. In some of them they restored the sails, others they didn't. But it's a good job that we keep them. And that was the beginning or the end of Palma, as you want. The walls inside. I don't like it. I like modern things. I think I don't have anything against modern architecture or modern sculpture, because this is rather a sculpture. But this one I don't understand it. school. Just a school for boys, girls up to the age of 16. And this promenade is a new one. On the left of the promenade, everything, there was the countryside. On the right of the promenade, there was the town. Where these buildings are, there were the walls. Where these buildings on the right are built, there were the walls. And there is a river without water, a dry river. It has water, it flows when it rains a lot. And now, after the traffic light, when we are in this street in front, we will be in the space of the old town. This is not the old town anymore because all the buildings they are new. So many old buildings here, they were demolished to open this avenue, but that was the old town. So many old buildings to open this street. So almost 60 or 50 and some 50 plus years after demolishing the walls. And this is maybe the most famous shopping street in Palma. And I say famous and not the best. Maybe I should say this, the most expensive one. It's the most expensive one. It's the most, in Spanish we say pijo, which is something like, well, posh, you know, where everything is more expensive because it's in the street. Sometimes the same items you can find them cheaper in other shops, but the street itself is expensive. It's called the street Jaime III, Jaume III, James III, which is the name of our last king, the king which was killed in 1349. James III. CNA, you see that? CNA. We still have CNA, which disappeared in UK, I think. Right? And this is one of the main streets in Palma, Union Street, Union, Calle Union. And on our pedestrian walk, we are going to come this way and we're going to finish it in the Born. So that's the reason why I mentioned the Born, because you are going to see the coach at the end of the Born. I'm going to drop you off at the Born. So it's very, very, very easy to see the coach, to find the coach when you are in the Born. Now, again, look at this beautiful building here, there on the left. This was built up to be an hotel, 1903. The first hotel ever built in Majorca, 1903. It was a deluxe hotel, it was a town hotel, and just after this hotel they opened the Paseo Marítimo because they could see that this was not enough at all. They needed more hotels. And by the way, this hotel, it was designed and built by a disciple of Mr. Gaudí. Mr. Gaudí, the one who built so many buildings in Barcelona, the Sagrada Familia. The Sagrada Familia was one of them. So a disciple, Mr. Domènech, designed and built this building. And there, in front of you, the Teatro Principal. Teatro Principal, the main theater, which is a building which comes from the 18th century neo-classical. And it was built by the same one who built this hotel. The name of this hotel that we just left behind it was the Grand Hotel. Grand Hotel. And in Barcelona as well, we go back to Barcelona, probably you know Las Ramblas in Barcelona. Oh, of course, everybody knows Las Ramblas. We have the Rambla, La Rambla, not in plural, in singular. La Rambla is the street, La Rambla. What does Rambla mean? Rambla means the bed of a river. The bed of a river, which is most of the time dry. So this went into the castle. We can do the same with the cathedral, no problem at all. But the price of the entrance is €6. And yes, it's €6. And I guess that they do a reduction if you are over 65, but I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you now how much is the reduction, if there is any. So, what I mean is that we have to do the visit to Palma, including the cathedral or not including the cathedral. because by the time it is now, what I can't do is the cathedral was, I mean, what I'm trying to tell you is this: if 6 people they want to go in the cathedral, I have to go with the group, you know. So I think it's best if you do it on your own. I can explain to you the outside of the cathedral, then have a walk by Palma, and then the people interested in visiting the cathedral, you know, I'll show you where this is to buy the ticket. So with my father, by the top of the wall, and the waves of the sea, they were banging, through the wall, and me and my brother, we enjoyed the foam that was going over the walls. We were happy because it was reaching there. So the cathedral was built on the sea, because this is all new. Even more, the walls, they were built at the 17th. The cathedral was designed and started to build at the 14th. So by the time they built the wall, the cathedral, this wall wasn't there. What was in there? The second wall. Can you see these people there?
Yeah.
That's the second wall, the wall before. This wall comes from the 14th, from the 13th century. So when they built the cathedral, they built it almost right on the sea. And this is the good thing of the cathedral, that was built on the sea, the only one. The only Gothic cathedral, in Europe at least, built in the sea, on the sea. Then, from the cathedral, I would like you to see the flying buttresses. Can you see the flying buttresses? They are strong. If you later you go into the cathedral, you'll see that the pillars of the Cathedral of Palma, they're high and thin, thinner than any other cathedral in the world. This is possible to have so thin pillars because of the flying buttresses. Through these strong flying buttresses, a lot of the weight of the ceiling and the higher part of the cathedral was diverted to the counter pillars. Can you see the counter pillars? Yeah. They are big, they are wide, they hold on. So that's the
Ah, tu vas tout monter comme ça. Yeah. Yeah. Of course you do.
Okay, I showed you the southern side of the cathedral from the park. This is the facade, and then we'll see the other side, the northern side. The facade of the cathedral is a neo-Gothic facade, I told you. You could see the difference from the park. The big block is from the 14th century, designed at the 14th century, and Gothic style. And the facade is neo-Gothic style. The facade, it was built at the 19th century, finished in 1851. Before this facade, there was another one. They finished this cathedral with a discrete facade. And let's say that the facade was not making justice to the cathedral. A big cathedral, an impressive Gothic cathedral, and a discrete little facade with little towers. And the canons and the bishops, they were not happy. They wanted a big facade according to a big cathedral. And at the 19th century, they started building this one, and they did it on top of the old one. There is the old one, they go going up to the front of the old one, the new one. So from the outside, we see the new facade. But if you happen to go to the inside, you'll see the back of the old facade. Okay?
Yeah.
A quick description of this facade would be, you can see 4 towers. The 2 highest ones, they are the ones in the middle. They're 68 meters high. Then in both sides, you can see 2 false windows They are blocked this way so the light doesn't go through. Yeah, they are just decorations. Then you can see, starting from the side tower, a false row of arches, Gothic arches. They go along the facade, from tower to tower. Then, over them you can see the terrace and the flying buttress. And on the other side just the same. False windows, false arches, terrace, flying buttresses. And in the middle you can see the gate. Then over the gate you can see the rose window. And after the rose window the timber. But when you see the gate, if you look carefully, if you look at the gate, you see clearly that this is not the same style. There's a big difference in style from the gate to the rest of the facade. Of course, it's a different style. The gate is a Renaissance style gate, finished in 1600, in 1601 exactly, which is when they finished the cathedral. By the time they finished the cathedral, the Gothic style was already the past. So, for a reason or another, they wanted to finish the cathedral with the style of the times. Okay, the Renaissance style. And that's what they did. So we have a real Gothic cathedral, a neo-Gothic facade, and a Renaissance style gate. Okay.
Well, the point is when you are, yeah,
This way, Leisure. Okay, you can see again the difference, neo-Gothic and Gothic. The neo-Gothic would be, more decorated, especially with a geometrical decoration, while the Gothic is more pure, clean. And there you can see the bell tower. You look at the width of the tower, It's really wide, okay? So wide because this tower was supposed to be almost double than it is. The tower is 52 meters high. When it's finished, if they ever finish, will be 92 meters high. So that's the reason why it's so wide in the bottom. Okay? 90, I hope someday they'll finish. But at the moment...
How many bells?
Bells! To be honest, I think that's... I don't remember, they have 5 or 6.